Chapter 55. What do you think? I asked my parents on the way home. Should we give Maple Hills another chance? It is the nicest house we've seen on our price range, and it doesn't have any asbestos, Dad pointed out. Mom looked down at her pronunciation cards. But will we feel comfortable there? She said quietly. Maybe we're better off buying somewhere where people don't like to try to keep us out. But then we'd be letting him win, I cried. It made my blood boil every time I thought about that neighbor. Why should that awful man get to live in Maple Hills and not us? Maybe we could wait a few more years and save up money. Move somewhere where everyone is kind, Mom said. I'll prove to the administration that I can take on all kinds of additional responsibilities. Who knows, maybe in a few years I could get a promotion. I chewed the inside of my cheek, tired of waiting, tired of maybes, tired of working twice as hard for half the reward. He's one guy, I insisted. We can't let him intimidate us. Still, I wondered, what if there were others? What if they made up more lies? We'll be directly across from him, Mom reminded me. Dad reached over and patted her hand. We don't have to think about this right now. Let's just focus on the Mats Cup and the big game. He glanced at me in the rearview mirror. Show me those tickets again. I beamed and flashed a colorful stack of tickets, which Gao Hong had given to us at the end of the interview as a gift of gratitude. I can think of a few uncles and aunties who'd love to come, Mom giggled, referring to our immigrant friends. Some weeklies too, I added. The weeklies were delighted to receive the tickets when we got home, as were Lupe and her parents, and Uncle Zhang and Auntie Ling when we called them. That's so generous of the team, Uncle Zhang exclaimed. Can we come over to watch the interview tomorrow? Sure, it's at 7 p.m., Mom said, after my Mats Cup competition. Good luck, you're going to kill it. Thanks, she said, reaching for her pronunciation cards again, as she hung up the phone. Hey, I think you're good, I told her. She'd been studying those cards so intensely all week. I wished she'd relax and take a bath in the guest room. Maybe pour some of those expensive bubbles the customer were always leaving behind. But Mom shook her head. I have to pronounce every term perfectly, or the other coaches won't take me seriously. I was wondering if she was still thinking about the first day she substituted for our math class, and how Bethany Brett had laughed when Mom mispronounced Pythagoras' theorem. I hoped the memory hadn't been bothering Mom all this time, but I also knew from reading Michael Yao's letters that we don't always get to choose when memories stop haunting us. Slowly, I picked up one of her cards. If this was important to her, she didn't have to do it alone. Let's practice together. What do you call distance across a circle? I asked. Mom looked up in surprise. Diameter? Correct. I gave her a thumbs up and flipped to the next card. An equation with two terms? She thought for a moment. A binomial, she replied perfectly. I nodded. We flew through the next 35 terms, and then I put the lost card down and quizzed Mom on one more thing. What do you call a woman who came over from China many years ago, who wasn't sure whether she could be a teacher in this country, but through her tireless effort is taking her team to the Mats Cup? A woman who deserves a kitchen island, darn it. Mom smiled and put a hand over her heart. Oh, Mia. You've got this, Mom, I said, handing her back all her cards. Mom and I hugged tightly. Then she headed out to the back for her guest room, and I crawled into bed. I hoped that tomorrow, Lupe and Mom would snatch the trophy from Team Centilla, and that the football team interview would be a roaring success on TV. Most of all, I hoped Mom could see when she got there. It didn't matter how she pronounced the words. It was her passion and devotion to her students that made her a winner.